Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force. And today we are continuing with Stormwatch, here with Stormwatch number 2. But first, we're going to go back and find out more about Blood Force. So this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book that I write and draw. It is both a celebration and a parody of 90s extreme comics, and it is full of crazy stuff like this, and the action is only getting better with every page. And in order to read Blood Force, all you have to do is open the description below, click the link, go to my Patreon, and subscribe there. By subscribing on my Patreon, not only do you get access to the Blood Force comic, all of it in its entirety, you also get access to every video that I make before I post it to YouTube, usually about a week or two in advance, as well as the pre-Blood Force stuff. So we're talking about the sketches I made coming up with Blood Force, as well as a couple of projects I worked on before I did Blood Force. All this for just $3 American. You cannot get Arm Blades and Vengeance for a better price. So subscribe today, let's get Blood Force out on those shelves, and let's give the world the comics it deserves. Alright, so we are picking up where we left off, sort of mopping up some of the 1993 issues that we've kind of passed by, lapped a little bit to be honest. So we're going to do this proper, we're going to spend some more time with Scott Clark. So first, let's check and see how they did on the schedule. We're 2 months after the last issue, and actually looking ahead, Stormwatch number 3 also takes 2 months. I did a count on the pages, 22 in this, which, I mean, is a proper amount, but it's not like it's extra or anything. So, could be a case of new penciler, and the workload's a bit more than he can handle at this point. He does stay on Stormwatch for quite some time, I believe. I've seen a lot of covers by him anyway. So maybe you got a handle of it later on. Who knows? And we're going to get pretty good cover here. I mean, it's a Jim Lee. He's not trusting Scott Clark to sell this thing on his own. So he's still going to provide us with covers. But, I mean, you know, a Jim Lee cover is that's kind of what you want. And it's tried and true. Liefeld did this shit with Brigade. One thing that is a little strange is that they seem to have gotten the centering wrong on the sheets. Because you look here, this is obviously cut off. We should be able to see Fahrenheit's hand here. This cord, there's no reason for that to be cut off. And this looks, yeah, way off center. And this does carry on throughout the entire book. You see here, no margin here, wide margin here. And yeah, I checked online to see if this was just my copy. I don't think it was. I think this is how this kind of went to print. So this looks like it's a printing error. I can't imagine Jim was too happy about that. So, once more unto the breach. You know, that's fine. That's one of the quotes I like, at least. Alright, so we're going to start things off right where we left off, with Synergy having activated Malcolm, and he's having his Beauty and the Beast moment where all the rays of light shoot off him here. And we're continuing the tradition of opening with a splash. Don't have the Larson double splash, though. But, I mean, hopefully they can keep that up. That'd be nice. So they're indicating now that their mission is to grab Malcolm. I don't believe there was really much mention of that in issue 1. And it's tough drawing elephant legs into human ass, you know? Like, the transition just is not smooth. Oh, well. I'm sure that Tombstone is going to provide adequate cover. Absolutely. With these two, like, 20-foot tall dudes. At least proportionally. And he's behind the hill here. I like that. So, Synergy's going to call up to Weatherman requesting backup. But Weatherman actually doesn't have any backup to send to her. Because it looks like Diva and Hellstrike are on diplomatic protection duty at the UN General Assembly. Which sounds like an appropriately UN kind of thing for some superhero guys to do. And so then we have Stormwatch 2, who are itching to get in on the action. And this is Cannon, and there's Fahrenheit. I don't know what this guy's name is. They don't say it here. They don't say it till the next issue, and I don't remember what it is offhand. But he's very obviously just here to die. And there's Winter, looking concerned and a little frail. But apparently this is, well, Cannon, and these guys here are Stormwatch 2. And Stormwatch 2 are basically like reserves. So He's about to send him down to relieve, Stormwatch 1, but there's this incident that was mentioned at the end of Stormwatch 1 where there's a nuclear thing going on in Russia that bears looking into. And it's a shame with the printer error here, because this would have been a nice spread. And like Scott Clark put some time into this fucking thing, and then the printer just goes and fucks the whole thing up. That's a shame. And even like, you get a little bit of the page underneath here. Oh well. So Stormwatch 2 is going to go down to Russia, and hopefully get back up in time to relieve Battalion. And in Russia, some kind of guy is coming through the reactor. And this is... who is this? This is Regent, created by Mike Heisler and Jim Lee. It doesn't look much like a Jim Lee thing. Unless Scott Clark just couldn't pull it off. But that's a bit of a goofy-looking dude. If they'd even done the completely purple skin, that might have worked better. As it is, it looks like he's... like the flesh tone underneath here just makes it look like this is all body paint. So then we cut back to... man, it almost feels like some of these panels are getting cut off. But back to the cemetery, where Kilgore, who seems like he's essentially Sabretooth, with Wolverine's haircut, attacks Synergy, and she deactivates him, which is a power she has. I don't think she really uses... okay, see, I've read the Warren Ellis stuff. Synergy isn't in it too much at that point. But I don't think she deactivates anybody, and that probably would have been useful from time to time. But decent shots. Not much in the way of background here. I don't know if it really needs it. I mean, not really. And then Synergy passes out because Kilgore's claws are poisoned. He's going to block off these... I mean, this is all just, fighty. And he grabs Brutus telepathically here, I guess. Yeah, this is all, it's okay. Nothing's too spectacular. He's trying to do some things with the underlighting here and everything, so give him some credit for that. So, again, Death Trap here. He's going to try and snag Malcolm, but he's disintegrated his energy net. So, Death Trap has a psi gun, which is, I mean, that's Battalion's thing in this too. So, I don't know. It feels like everybody's got like Bishop weapons here, because that's Bishop's thing, where he has a gun that he operates off of like kinetic energy that he replenishes, something like that. So, this is a gun that Death Trap can operate using his telepathic ability, something like that. And that didn't do much. So then he has his Psi Blade. Oh, his Psi Sword. You can't say Psi Blade. Who's Psi Blade? And again, we're getting like sneak previews of what's going on in the rest of this comic. But Diva and Hellstrike show up in time to provide the cavalry. This feels like a pose that Scott Clark draws a lot. That is rather truncated. And they're being very careful with their word balloons. Alright, so Death Trap does a Mercs We Are Leaving, and they all teleport out. Again, these are shots that I'm quite sure Scott Clark practices a lot. And Death Trap says, "We done what we were paid to do. Our mission is finished." And I said, well, what's happened? Well, the only thing that's really happened is that Malcolm has been activated, right? So you're like, well, wait a minute. Is there actually some sort of, Machiavellian kind of thing going on here? Maybe a little bit. And then they have their little shouting match here with, you're coming back to the station. No, I'm not. I'm out of Stormwatch. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm saying you're coming with. Okay, fine. I'm coming with you. And again, just the difference between faces he hasn't practiced and faces he has. I think he gets there eventually. And then we get to Stormwatch 2, which is... okay, well, that's Winter Cannon Fahrenheit. I assume guy who dies and other guy who dies, unless that's Hellstrike. It might be, I guess. He looks a little bit like Hellstrike. Alright, so Battalion is up on whatever the fuck the name of the station is. Yeah, he's angry about things. To hell with him and Stormwatch. I'm out. All that shit. It doesn't seem like he was that pissed about Stormwatch. He doesn't seem like he has a reason to be angry about having to stay in Stormwatch. So we're going to go to the teleporter room, find out what Weatherman wants. There he finds Cannon, who's the only one from Stormwatch 2 to come up from Russia, where apparently the team is getting its ass handed to it. And there's one of the things that we saw beforehand. That's like most of a Union poster. Oh no, I mispronounced his name. I'm so sorry, Union. But again, this is not a superhero. This is a, like, shrieking Hulk. And Malcolm seems to be doing okay now. Whole bunch of talking. Nobody cares. And Battalion is going to go, and he's going to stand and look out the window nearly naked. This just struck me as a little bit funny, because, like, I get the whole wanting to ponder his decision about whether or not he should suit up for one more mission for Stormwatch. It's very dangerous. Yeah, da-da-da-da. But, you think he could have found some pants first. Alright, so now Cannon's going to get in arguments with everybody else. They're all thinking that he abandoned the team, even though Winter was the one who pushed him, I don't know, or, like, teleported him for him. And they're at the breaking point until everyone looks over their shoulder and they're all like, good show, because they don't realize he's Irish yet. And ciao bello, because that's the only Italian Brandon Choi knows. I kind of like this treatment with like half of the image colored. And oh look, it was Battalion. Who would have guessed? Pretty good splash. Cut down a bit on the on the image with the border there. But yeah, no, decent tech weapons here. Not too bad. And so yeah, they're all going to go teleport down to Russia. Meanwhile, so we get this bit here where Weatherman was our Psi analyst. We're quite certain Battalion will resign his commission, and Synergy says they just didn't provide the necessary motivation. You see, in the end, Battalion never really had a choice in the matter. So I think from all that, we can infer that Synergy hired the mercs to attack the funeral so that she had to activate Malcolm. I believe that's the point. I can't say for sure because I've never read beyond this up until the Warren Ellis issues, but that seems like that's probably the case. And more Gen X. Because it's not Gen 13. Not yet. Not until Marvel gets angry. And here it's Jay Lee. And that's going to do it for Stormwatch number 2. Not a whole lot happened in that, did it? I mean, the fight at the funeral, it does kind of go on for a little while. Yeah, it does. Maybe it's just that it's not great. And man, that does go on for a while. Yeah, that's like 10 pages at least. Jesus. 10 pages for a fight nobody gave a shit about. Like, seriously, it feels like there's no stakes to this fight. Even though, Malcolm's doing his swirly fucking disco ball shit. I wonder if this is part of it, that we keep cutting away. We cut away to Skywatch, we cut away to Russia, back to the funeral. And then, yeah, no, they teleport up to Skywatch, and then we cut to Russia. And then, yeah, no, it feels like, no, it almost feels like, no, that everything was reasonably well in hand. We were able to look away for a second. It did feel like a tension-building moment. Because you get that in movies, where, things build up to a crisis point, and then you cut to another scene where something else is already like halfway towards a crisis point, and it just keeps building tension towards a climax. But this never really did that. it's interesting to dissect, to be like, okay, so why didn't that work? And I think that's it, because, you know, you cut from a fight with what should be some stakes here to a bunch of guys calmly discussing things to, you know, happy-go-lucky dude in body paint. Yeah, it never really feels like Stormwatch doesn't have things under control. Anyway, it'd be interesting to see how things go in the future, because I know by issue 4, there's another guy assisting on the script, because Brandon Choi doesn't script these things for too long generally, I think, except Wildcats. So, I don't know, maybe the other guy has a better handle on this. I would guess probably not. It's not a name I recognize. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Follow me on Twitter, but more importantly, go and subscribe on my Patreon. That's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually about a week or so in advance. That's also where all the Blood Force pages go, as well as any process stuff or Patreon exclusives that I come up with. So it's well worth checking out. But yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.